Welcome back to Junkie Radio. Beneil Dariush.
What's up, guys? How are you?
Good, and you?
Good, good. Just training hard, and like you said, possibly a fight coming up. We are uh, negotiating right now. So I just, had finished my third fight on my contract with your car, and it's time to renegotiate. So that's where we're at. We're just trying to figure out those numbers.
If the numbers come through, though, your body is ready to respond on August 8th.
Oh, definitely. I've been doing nothing but sprints and running and wrestling and striking and just you know the usual, but at a fight pace. So I'm definitely ready to go.
Now, I know this is probably something you may want to hold close to you because it's a negotiation phase, but is this one of those situations where you want to perhaps even see what you're worth on the market, or have you even gone through that at all? Or is it more like you really, really just want to be with UFC and just make it work?
I would say I really want to be with the UFC because the best guys are here. If the best guys weren't here, I would go where the best guys are. If the best lightweights were in the Bellator, I would go there, or if they were in ONE FC, I'd go there. But it's without a doubt they're all here. There's so many lightweights, they're so good, and it just I can't see myself going to another place where the level isn't the same. But as far as the contract goes, we're asking for quite a bit, but I also think I'm worth quite a bit. I've unlike other fighters, I'll fight people outside of the top 10 when I was top 10 or top 15, and then also anyone who's ever beat me except for my first loss has gotten ranked in the top 10 or top 15, and finally anyone who's ever beat me has gotten a performance bonus. That right there shows you there's worth in just beating me. So there's got to be. I might not be huge with the fans, but if if you follow MMA, you know who I am and what I'm worth. I just beating me gets you a performance bonus. It's that simple.
Well, allow me to chime in then, because I was looking at your record earlier today, and maybe Ali can show them this video when they're negotiating. I'm telling you, man, you deserve it. You're right. You have been a company guy, a team player. And when I look back, I was like, wow, some of these guys, their careers have really started to blossom, and these wins are really, really nice. Let's start off with Charlie Brenneman, tough wrestler. That was your first fight in the UFC. You know what I mean? Then you had Ramsey Nijem. And then you had this run that included Rocco Martin, who's been a really, really tough lightweight and welterweight, Carlos Diego Ferreira. And I know this, Benny, because I have to rank these guys for USA Today Sports and MMA Junkie. So I'm familiar with when they've popped into the rankings or when they've dropped or ascended or whatever. Ferreira is a great win, all right? Cruikshank's a tough guy. Jim Miller, that guy's awesome, you know what I mean? He has been a tough guy, a tough out for many, many years. Michael Johnson, same thing. Michael Johnson beat Tony Ferguson, Dustin Poirier, and Edson Barbosa. You know what I mean? You can't take those away from him.
Yeah.
James Vick, he won like 8 straight at one point. Rashid Magomedov, he was tough as well. I remember to rank him as well.
Sorry, when James lost, he was actually undefeated when I beat James. So I was the first person to actually beat him.
And then this latest run you're in, which includes Thiago Moses, Drew Dober, who we recently had to ascend into the rankings, Frank Camacho, Drakkar Klose, 18-4 is a solid record. That means you're winning at 80%, and at 80% it means you're a ranked fighter and you're damn good. So yeah, crack open the checkbook, Hunter, Dana, somebody. This is a quality fighter, man.
No, Sean and I have a great relationship. I think this is gonna be fine. I'm not too worried about it. To be honest, actually, I was trying to get a top 10 fight, top 15 fight, and I called Sean. I'm like, or actually he called me. I messaged him and I say, hey, like, what's going on, man? Like, I had to give him my resume just like we did right now. And then he calls me and he's like, well, this is my problem. Sean starts talking. And then we just go through the list of the top 15 and top 10 as well. And I'm like, what about this guy? He's like, well, this is going on with him. What about this guy? He's fighting this guy. What about him? And he just kind of went through everybody. And I'm like, all right, I guess there really isn't anybody right now. And so I said, all right, then I'll take somebody outside the top 15. And that's how this Scott Holtzman fight came up. So in reality, I have a really good relationship with Sean. So let's see what happens. I'm not too stressed about it. I appreciate the UFC and what we've done together, and we'll see how it goes.
Benny, so you're saying that you're not too stressed. And actually, when we booked this interview, I started thinking, we're all talking about how stressed we are in our everyday lives. But fighters, I imagine everything you guys have to go through in trying to get a fight. It seems like Twitter is where fighters are trying to get fights. And on top of that, you're a gym owner. And I believe you just recently got married. Like, you've kind of been through a lot this year. You still have a smile on your face. I don't know how you pull this off.
Let me tell you something. If you can get past getting married, buying a house, and doing a fight camp all together, nothing's gonna be a problem. Right now, it's gonna be really hard to get under my skin, man. I was the most stressed I've ever been for that Jakar fight because I was I just told you, getting married. We were trying to buy a house, so we were trying to figure that out. Real estate is no joke. On top of that, I had a 400 people wedding. My culture, big weddings are a must. And finally, oh yeah, 10 days before the fight, I tore my MCL completely. So like, uh, it was just not. It was not the best camp. I couldn't lose weight. I was so stressed. I was holding water. I didn't lose weight until 15 days after my wedding. So until February 15th, I finally started losing weight. And I think I fought like 3 weeks after that. Like my weight was stuck at 180 plus because I was so stressed.
400 people at your wedding? I can't even organize like 5 guys to go to the movies or hang out at a bar. 400?
All right. So now that I've gone through a wedding, my understanding of weddings is it's not about you. And it's almost not even about your wife, at least in my culture. My wife, she got to pick what she wanted, how the wedding looks, and all that, whatever, cool. But the guest list is about your parents, man. You're honoring your parents there. So my mom has a lot of loved ones and a lot of people who invited us to weddings. So we had to invite them. And same thing with Victoria's mom, and then also my dad. My dad wasn't as many, but that's kind of what it is. And then I had my friends and my fighting friends, so it was it added up quick.
Hey, Benny, so going back to that last fight, a lot has happened in the world since that last fight. Do you still feel like, as a fighter, do you feel like you carry that momentum from that fight, or does it almost feel like starting over again?
To be honest, I feel great. I feel I am carrying momentum, and I've been working so hard. And the shutdown, it affected us, but it didn't affect us. So I remember the shutdown happened, and then gyms are closed, and then I was like, all right, well, at least I have a key. I can just go train by myself, and or maybe if someone wants to join me. So I started doing that, and like a week or two later, I found all these wrestling kids who were like, hey, we need a place to train. So they started coming through. All of a sudden, I went from wrestling twice to 3 times a week to 5 to 6 times a week. And on top of that, I was doing striking at least once or twice a week, and things just picked up. Everything started to pick up. So for me, this has been nonstop. Right after the fight, I jumped back in thinking, oh man, I just have to do something so I don't get totally out of shape because this COVID thing. In reality, I went into another camp right after the fight because these kids showed up and they're all studs, and I didn't want to get left behind. I'm like an old guy with them. I'm 31, they're like 16, 18, 19, 20 years old, and I'm 31, and they're just every day I go in there with like back pain, and I spend like 20 minutes warming up, and they just walk in, ooh, I'm good to go. So with that being said, like it was straight back into a camp for me, and it's been great. The shutdown has affected my gym. We had to shut down for a while, but after a little bit, it was either shut down the gym completely forever or just reopen. So we decided to reopen. So I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying this on air, but we just kind of risked it, and we said we don't really have a chance anymore. We're not gonna last if we don't reopen.
I think you need to hang out with us a little bit more. You'd feel a lot better about yourself. I think I pulled a muscle sneezing yesterday. So
It's real, man. I get up every morning with back pain. I'm like, what the heck happened? I get up every morning checking my weight to see why. When I first, like, I remember the first interview I did with you guys. I think I was like 24. I walked around like 168. I could have made 155 like any day of the week, but now that's 168 is like a dream weight for me.
What do you walk around at?
Right now, right now about like 73, about 74. But if I'm, let's say, if I'm eating my normal diet, if I go, let's put it this way, if I go get some deep dish right now, I'd be 85 plus. It just, my body holds a lot more water than it used to. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay, I got a question for you.
Water.
a lot of water in this, Benny.
All right, you saved yourself a second ago. I was going to come at you. I was like, 400 people, and Goz and I couldn't make the cut. I mean, we're SoCal guys. We're OC guys. No invite at all. But then you covered yourself. You said it's all about the parents and the list. And I go, all right, I haven't met the parents, so I didn't get in. That's why I was wedding. But what if you could invite 1,000 people? Would Goz and I have made that cut at least?
If you guys called me the week we were doing the list, we couldn't even remember who we're supposed to invite. I can't believe it. I forgot. No, I didn't forget. So we had all these fighters. I had to cut out some fighters that are close friends of mine, and I was so frustrated with the whole thing. I remember just thinking to myself, I can't believe I'm not inviting this person to my wedding. I can't believe I'm not inviting, because originally our cap was 200. And that got shattered. So we said 250. And then that got shattered, 300. And then it just kept happening like that. And then I had to like cross out fighters off like that are good friends of mine. I had to cross them out. And it just man, I don't want to say it on there. You got man. Look at this. Man, I didn't invite Lyoto. I was gonna invite Lyoto, his wife, and like, man, I love Lyoto, and that's the thing. Like, I there were so many guys I couldn't. It was like I told you, it was the most stressful 6 to 8 weeks of my life.
Okay, and then here's another question. I got two for you. Did you have a wedding planner?
Yeah.
Did you have movers when you moved?
When I moved, did I have movers? No, we didn't have movers. So
you were moving couches and beds and everything. You were getting your fingernails dirty.
Yeah, well, kinda. We got a new house, and my wife said, "I hate your old stuff," and I said, "All right, I see what you're saying." I didn't really want to argue about it. She said, "I hate everything you have." So she didn't say it. She didn't say it in those words, but you can see it in the eyes. And I said, "Okay, I see what you're saying." So she pretty much got everything new, and when you get everything new, they kind of just deliver it for you, except for the fridge. The fridge I had to carry in here, and that took 4 people.
Damn. All right. And what'd you do with your old stuff? You just had to have some sort of a rummage sale or donate or what happened there?
We donated. We gave to family and friends, and I don't know if we sold anything. And then my garage is full of crap, so there's that too.
Did any of that hurt your feelings when she basically said, "I hate your stuff"?
All of it hurt my feelings. My feelings were hurt for a good 8 months, but you get over it. You kind of get numb. Like, after the wedding, nothing really fazed me anymore. Like, it all just slipped right off. It just straight in the face and just slipped right off. It was not an issue anymore.
What was the hardest thing to let go? Was there a favorite couch, a table? Which one stung the most?
Man, my utensils. They were perfect. They're perfectly fine. They work. They look like every other utensil. Why can't I take them? Like, okay, I get it. My bed's old. My bed was really old. I think it was like 1,000,000 years old. We're not bringing the bed. Fine. And it's a 1-person bed. Okay, whatever. I was like, well, we can at least put it in the other, like, for my kids. I'll put it in my kids' room one day when I have kids. And she just looked at me like, and I was like, all right, but my utensils are perfectly fine. They're not even scratched. So that was one of the arguments we had.
So you're out there battling Drakkar Close. You get your hand raised, but then she hears that bonus and she's like, cha-ching, Best Buy, furniture stores. Yeah, way to go, Benny.
Trust me, no, the bonus we put aside. I put that bonus aside, and I said I was going to do something special with it. And I told people I was going to try to do an orphanage in Haiti, and I'm pretty much there. We started the orphanage. We have 18 kids right now. I plan on going out there right after this fight.
Talk to us a little bit about that, man. That's awesome. Congratulations. So there's an orphanage in Haiti. There's 18 kids. What are the ranges of age, and how big do you plan on getting this? Will you go to other countries? Sorry, I know it's a lot of questions, but my wheels are turning here.
No, you're asking all the right questions. So all the kids are between 4 to 12 years old, and basically, I have my friend there, Leo. He's a pastor, and he picks the kids. And right now, he's at a point where he has to say, "Hey, like, stop, no more kids." And most of these kids, they either have lost both their parents or a single parent, and they live in a household of like 5 or 6 other kids, like their brothers and sisters. So we take the youngest because the strain on the family, and we try to relieve that strain, and that's where it's at. As far as opening more places, it's going to be one of those little by little things. I'm hoping to do that one day, but I have to. I never thought as myself as a businessman until now. I have to figure out how to set my businesses here so that I can do that in other places. So if I'm able to be successful here in terms of what I do in my gym, in my, whether it be real estate or whatever else I go into, and or what, then I can do it. And I know people are going to help me, and I appreciate all their help, but I also have to make sure it's not one of those things where it's just seasonal. If it goes, it has to be forever. I can't just have it for a little bit. So it's slow and steady is the best way to put it. And I would like to go to other countries, and I think I will eventually, because once I retire from fighting, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be either full-time missionary or like 70% time missionary.
This is amazing stuff, Benny. And anytime you have any news that you want to get out there, let us know. Even if it's just on social media, you need help tweeting, retweeting, sharing. You've seen other fighters also have great causes, like Dustin Poirier, and the way that's grown from just him donating his fight kit, and sharing it that way to now, building playgrounds and, the UFC getting involved. And then there's many people in MMA, man, even though we clash heads, difference of opinions, I picked him, you picked him, camps battling each other, everyone comes together in moments like that. So anything we can ever do to help, we'll obviously do our best.
I appreciate it. And I haven't really put the word out yet. I was thinking about after my fight, I would actually ask, I spoke with him before, but I would ask Will Harris. He does Anatomy of a Fighter. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I was going to ask him if he wanted to go with me. He could maybe do like a small documentary just to see what we're doing there. And one of the things I always want people to know, like, if you're going to, like, because a lot of people ask to donate. Donating is great. Don't get me wrong. But one of the things I want more than donating your money is I want you to be able to spend time with these kids. Are you willing to travel out there? Things like that. So I was hoping to make a documentary to see if people kind of give people what's happening there, if they want to go there, and like how it would work. So there's a lot going on, and I'm just trying to figure it out right now. But I will definitely do that in the future.
Man, that's amazing stuff, dude. It's really moving, and we've always known you to be a great guy. And I want to make an announcement right here, right now. If I get married, you are now at 394 on the wedding. Okay,
that's
just under 400.
You know what? That's special in my heart.
So he was outside the bubble, not getting invited. Now he's actually made the list.
395 because I forgot Leoto.
Oh.
Man, that's funny. I like that. I guess we haven't even really talked about the matchup. First things first, you got to get your contract sorted out. But we'll just leave it at this. Holtzman's a really, really exciting fighter to watch.
Man, he's a stud.
I'm sure you fighters are actually fans of each other, even though every once in a while you're gonna, match up with somebody. The other day we interviewed Justin James, who just debuted by knocking out Frank Camacho, a former opponent of yours, and he was like, "Man," he goes, "I was a fan of that guy. I like that guy." So, can you just talk about Holtzman and the matchup a little bit here? If it comes to fruition, great, and if it doesn't, maybe you guys will clash heads in the future.
I think the fight's gonna happen. I'm 90% sure it's gonna happen, but he's a stud. He's this absolute stud, and you see him grow. I've been studying him obviously because of the fight, but he's an absolute stud, and you see his growth. I'm watching his fights, and I see his growth. And his last fight with Miller, who's only gotten tougher, he was able to control and he took over the fight in the last 2 rounds and kind of dominated him. So he's an absolute stud. If I'm off even by a second in this fight, I'll lose.
Wow. Amazing there. Yeah. Okay. Good analysis. I like that. And that just goes to show you how the respect he has for his opponent. Wow. Off the second, he could lose. And I'm sure he's saying and thinking, amazing things about you as well, Benny, because you have a formidable skill set on the ground. You have the striking, that when we first started covering you, I wouldn't have been able to say, "Oh, watch, he'll stand with Barbosa," and in that Barbosa fight, I remember just seeing some amazing skills, not just that fight, but other fights as well, where you don't think of too many people wanting to stand with certain fighters, but your game has really, really evolved, in covering you these last few years. And I wanted to ask you one last thing, and if you want to chime in on this, go ahead as well. But I want to ask you one last thing. Tell me how you felt when Verdum and Shogun won, and seeing your team celebrate. Are you one of those guys when you see it, you almost feel like just going around the block and running, crushing 3 miles? Like, do you carry momentum over from when your boys win?
I was so excited that I cheated it, if that makes sense. We basically had a big gathering at my house. It was my wife's birthday as well, so there's a bunch of food and stuff like that. And I was being so good with the food. I was like, I'm not gonna have this. I'm not gonna have that. There's some broccoli over there. I'll take some of that, whatever. And then I think it was Fabricio was first, or was it Shogun who was first?
Fabricio.
I can't remember. Fabricio was first, and Fabricio just went out there and just dominated the first round. He just went in there, couple of kicks, goes for the takedown, pulls deep half guard, sweeps, takes the back, armbar, bam! I just freaked out. And I started messaging people and calling people, "Did you see that? Did you see that? He's the greatest. I told you he's the greatest." And I was freaking out, all good. And then while I'm freaking out, I'm like shoving food in my mouth too. So I was pretty excited for that. And then you watch the Shogun fight, and I wish that would have been a fast fight too, because I was so stressed. I've known Shogun now, and I got to train with him and spend time with him. I've known him for quite a while now. It's been, I think, over 5 years, and he's such a sweet guy. Like, what you see is really what you get. Like how sweet he is, and what a genuine guy he is. It really is that. So watching him, nerve-wracking, but he pulled it off, and again, same thing. I was super excited. I was messaging Master Rafael in Abu Dhabi, and just excited for everybody. And again, I was shoving food in my mouth. So I that day, I celebrated the fights more than I celebrated my wife's birthday. So I was a little bit in trouble, but it was worth it.
I love the honesty. All right, my man. Listen, we took enough of your time, but we appreciate the catch up as always. You're one of our favorites, honestly, and I hope you really get what you deserve. You definitely deserve it, and maybe in about a week or so, we'll see you here in Las Vegas.
I appreciate it. I'll see you guys there.
All right, Benny. Enjoy your day. Thanks again.
Take care, guys.